Welcome to the Kunes Collective, episode 4. Marcos here with my co-host Eddie. And Sandy, let's talk about something.
Let's talk about it.
Happy Halloween.
Yes.
Is it too soon to talk about Black Friday?
No, it's actually the best time to bring it up.
Yeah, we just talked about it in a meeting this morning. Just Black Friday is coming, and can you tell us a little bit about, like, at the store, kind of what you guys are doing to prepare, or what you have been doing to prepare for Black Friday?
It's awesome. We have every year it's been getting bigger and bigger. We have more people that are showing up, the wee hours of the morning. I think we're gonna do again where we're opening up at like 6 or 6:30
in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we're gonna have people camped out. I'm sure we have already a bunch of cars that we have stocked up for it. I think we got like just over 20 of them.
You have 20 cars for Black Friday?
Yeah.
So what type of price range do we have on cars on Black Friday?
You're going to have your $99 cars. There might be one or two of those.
Sure.
And then it's going to be up to, I think the most expensive one we had last year was like $8,000, kind of everything in between. So $100 car, a $2,000 car, or a $3,500 car. Yeah, but it's going to be good. I'm excited for it. It's just different, because people that come in, they know it's kind of different. It's wacky. And,
right.
All the sales guys are wired on 5 cups of coffee by 7 a.m. So, but it's fun. The whole atmosphere, it's different. We're still selling cars. It's still kind of a normal day, but it just breaks up that normal mundane car business day-to-day stuff.
Explain something to us. How does a dealer sell a car for $99? Like, what kind of car? Like, obviously you can't tell me what specific car, but like what does somebody actually buy? Like, are we talking a parts car? Like, what's someone buy
really?
for
I mean, there's some cars out there that, I remember last year I did one of the $99 cars. I think it was like a Buick Lucerne or
a 38
Sabre.
Yeah, bulletproof 3800 probably.
It had 160 some thousand miles.
Oh, it was a baby.
And we disclose everything. So we have to, by law, we have to say, okay, here's the car you're buying, but here's a list of everything that needs to be done on it. Okay. It has to go through an inspection. And so the customers know that, because you have a lot of customers that just, they got a couple grand in their pocket. They're not looking to finance a $40,000 car or a $15,000 car. Some people just, they have that money around this time of the year and they need a car just for a couple months, or their kid. I sold a $4,500 car. Repeat customers of mine who I've sold new cars to, they bought their kid a car.
Sure.
We had a Lincoln crossover. She still has it, still runs. And people will say, hey, we'll even have people say, hey, okay, I see the list of everything that's needs to be done. What's what would it cost if I wanted this and this and this fixed? And they'll actually end up paying a little extra
to have it done,
those major things. But
sure.
Typically a $99 car, that's the rough one. But we'll list everything. Hey, here's what's wrong, and okay, cool. And usually with fees and everything, it comes out to just under $1,000. But
sure. So I'm just going to loop back around. You mentioned the Wisconsin State Safety Inspection. I'm just going to talk on that for a quick second, just because some people might not be familiar with that. So in Wisconsin, if you're a dealer, you have to put the car through the Wisconsin State Safety Inspection, right? So every dealer, if you're a dealer in Wisconsin, you're doing that. And the nice thing about that is, to a consumer, everything that's like mechanical or safety related essentially gets some kind of check before a dealer can actually sell it. So it doesn't mean that the tires have to be brand new and the brakes have to be brand new for a dealer to sell it. There's minimums. So for example, I think Wisconsin, it's like 30 seconds is the minimum. And you'd be surprised what 30 seconds is. Yeah. I'm thankful that I think most of our dealers, if a car had even 5 seconds, yeah, they're probably replacing the tires, because people, they maybe don't expect brand new, but you want to have at least a good looking tire on there when you buy a car. So it doesn't mean that the car is going to be perfect because it goes through the inspection. However, it does mean that at least when you purchase it, there's a little bit of, okay, I know what I'm getting into a little bit. So that's a huge benefit, because even some of these $5,000 cars, that's still a lot of money. $5,000 is still a lot of money, right? So. Yeah. Great that Wisconsin has that.
Well, it's like, we're a consumer-friendly state. Other states we call buyer beware. Where they don't have to disclose everything, and we'll disclose everything on the safety inspection. And if there's cars that we have that have like frame damage or stuff like that, sometimes we wouldn't even take those in on trade.
Sure.
Or if we do, we'll disclose it, just so you know this is what it has, and that's why it's priced the way it is. So and that's all comes down to the salesperson too, just kind of bringing that up early in the process, where you don't want to wait till the end of it and then they go, oh, wait a minute, I'm signing all this paperwork and now I found out that it needs this and this and this, and right, this has a leak and all that. So it's really on you salespeople out there to, it'll make the whole process easier, and you'll have a happier customer if you bring it up early on, so you've already overcome that hurdle. So
Yeah, so basically, a little bit of transparency goes a long
yeah,
way.
yep.
Yeah, and that's kind of something. Shout out to our Illinois stores. Probably some of the only stores in Illinois that service their vehicles to that type of standard.
Well, our group does, yeah, which is nice.
Well, yeah. So we have the lifetime powertrain warranty. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's called our No Fear. What it's no additional charge. So we always had it on our new cars, and I think I may be wrong. I may have to quote me on this one or fact check it. I think in 2019 is when we started it on our select pre-owned cars. So as long as it's not more than 10 years old and it has under 100,000 miles, it gets what's called our No Fear powertrain. So that's your engine, your transmission, four-wheel drive system, seals, gaskets. So anything internally lubricated. So it's not going to cover like an alternator or a battery or obviously wear and tear items, but that's going to be covered for as long as you own the vehicle. One caveat to that is as long as just service your vehicle without any Kunes location. So that's been a huge game changer with pre-owned cars.
Well, yeah, because average extended warranty costs, even if you're talking powertrain for
4 to 5,000.
Yeah, for when you're talking that type, even if you're talking a 2 to 3 year, you're still paying a few grand for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a huge value. And again, I think part of that is as a dealer, one thing that's tough. So I remember my days in the service. A dealer will miss something, and it's not because they didn't look at it.
They're
It's
human.
because it's because. But with the cars, for example, if a system checks out that it's working absolutely perfect, and nothing looks abnormal, nothing sounds abnormal, you don't tear something apart just to tear it apart and see if there's a
If
problem.
there's no problem, don't look for the problem.
Correct. So yes, I mean, does stuff slip through the cracks? Absolutely. I do think most of the time it's probably because it wasn't pronounced at the time of inspection enough to like require further diagnostics. But you don't basically, if it, like I said, if it looks good, smells good, whatever, you don't see anything, there's no fluids or anything. I mean, you're not gonna tear apart whatever housing just to see what's underneath for fun. So but that's where the warranties come into play. That's where the lifetime powertrain comes into play. That's where the safety inspection comes into play. And then I think it's an additional inspection above and beyond the state inspection that it has to pass to get that. So that's something you think your customers have loved?
Oh yeah, it's been huge. You'd be surprised when you're talking to a customer, you're pulling up that used car and you start to go into your spiel, and then you bring that up, and it's for a lot of people, the reaction is like, oh really, I didn't know that. And so bring that up too. So if you're in our sales group, bring that up. It's a huge selling point, especially because it always happens. You get the guy or the lady that's like, well, I'm looking at a comparable car at so and so dealership down the road. It's the same price, same miles. And I've always said, oh, yeah, that's true. But, I have a lifetime powertrain on mine. So that has always been what made the sale on mine, which is cool. So.
Sorry, I can't get my mic to stay. So yeah, lifetime powertrain warranty, huge benefit. More info on that on our website, or call and see Sandy.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, what else is new? So Black Friday is coming along. We're all excited for that.
About that.
What else we got on the horizon at the dealership?
We just they dropped off the Toys for Tots donation boxes. That happens every year, and I think that runs until I think they pick up like first week of December, like December 8th or 9th. So each of our stores will have a Toys for Tots box somewhere in the show floor. Ours is at the front entrance at the Jeep store here in Elkhorn. Some may have it in their service area, anything like that. But if you feel so inclined, you're in the stop in. Donate a gift. It goes to a good cause. It supports at least here, it supports all the kids in Walworth County. So we're tied up with Toys for Tots Foundation here. So it's an excellent cause. I'm a huge fan of it.
That's a good feel-good one.
Help out the Marines. They run it. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
They run Toys for Tots?
They do.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's super awesome. Another great thing that they do. So we talked last time about the Stellantis Belvedere plant. That's obviously been big news locally. But it does look like the total Stellantis investment, and I'm reading off this piece of paper because I can't remember anything, $13 billion investment, and we're talking Illinois and Michigan. So Illinois, I know they're talking mostly about the Belvedere. They have the Michigan plant that they're reopening. So I had a question as to you as somebody that works for Stellantis, as for a representative of Stellantis, we'll call you. I know that like a lot of the lineups are changing a lot. I mean, what do you think in in a year, once or 2 years, once all these new models drop and the old ones go away, like what do you think the lineup is going to be for Stellantis? Because do we really, the Chrysler is only the Pacifica? Is that what we have left?
Yeah. I mean, there's been rumor of them bringing back the 300 in some shape or form. I don't think it's going to happen. I see a lot of hybrid technology really becoming a presence with the Jeep brand and Chrysler and Dodge.
Hybrid over like full electric, you're
Full
saying?
electric. I think Jeep, they, at least for our brand, and they tried to go heavy into electric, and it wasn't received well. A lot of people's like it took them out of the brand.
Well, it's not what they liked about Jeeps.
Yeah, because when you think Jeep, you don't think electric. You
Right.
think of a dirty Wrangler with the doors off, crawling, or the Grand Cherokee with all the gifts, parking in a Brookfield area. We talked about it earlier.
Right.
But I think it's hybrid technology, like I said, has a strong presence, and I'm a fan of it. I know a lot of people aren't, but I think you're going to see that more integrated with at least with our lineup, and also like smaller displacement engines. Like we just got word of the 2026 Grand Cherokee that's coming out this year. Minor facelift, headlights, front end. It's got a new radio screen in it. But the biggest thing is they're still going to offer the V6, but only in the base Laredo trim. So now, if you go basically limited and up, you can only get either a 4xe, which is what we already know, or they came out with a brand new 2-liter Hurricane turbo 4-cylinder.
I'm sure it'll be
more
fine.
horsepower and torque than the V6. And they also reduced some trim levels, so there's no more Overland trim. Now it goes Laredo, Limited, Summit. So you're going to have I know there's going to be a lot of blowback with customers going, why can't I get a V6 anymore? And it's like, well, this 4-cylinder can tow the same and has more power and torque. But it's the fact that you got someone driving this big Summit and this little 4-cylinder. But it's not a 4-cylinder from what
you guys can walk through.
Oh, yeah, you're good.
Jeez.
It's not the 4-cylinder like with what we've known like from the 90s where you're hammering on the gas and it's taken forever to speed up. A lot of these turbo 4-cylinders, they're quiet and they have more power than a V6. So I don't see what it's just that kind of.
I know, but you're starting to sound like a salesman. Is the problem?
Well, I am a salesman. Well, you're the perfect example. So you wouldn't like a 4-cylinder in a Grand Cherokee. You're the old creature of habit, tried and true. Just give me that old V6.
Well, listen. Well, here's the thing. I once upon a time sold Jeeps, and I am not qualified to talk about this at all. But we're here to talk. So, well, no. So I think what this really stems down to is those stupid EPA estimates or the EPA requirements, whatever you want to call it. Basically restrictions that like as a whole you have to hit so many miles per gallon, this, that, and the other thing. That's why. Yeah. Jeep's gonna say, oh no, you can get a 6-cylinder if you want. Yeah, okay, you only offered it in the Laredo. Yeah. Tell me that they couldn't have, like, why didn't they offer it like only on the Laredo up? Which is really where.
But why would you? If you can get an engine that gets better fuel economy, more power, and you don't sacrifice towing, which for the most part, people with Grand Cherokees, maybe 20% of the tow. What's the problem?
I just feel like the 2 liters.
It's because we're all used to. Same.
The 3.6 liter Pentastar has
been out since 2012.
And it still puts out plenty of power. I drive, 2 of our marketing vehicles have them. Pacifica's got it, and we have a Grand Cherokee L.
But even the Corolla. The Corolla, it always had a 1.8 liter. Always. And that's one of the number 1 selling cars in the world, right? And now they've changed into something different.
I'm not saying that the 2 liter won't have more power. I'm not saying it won't
have more power.
I'm not arguing any of those points. What I'm saying is, I don't want, the simpler the better.
That is simple.
No, it's not.
How is it not simple?
Because you're adding a turbo to the equation.
So?
Okay, so that's more.
You're replacing it with a more efficient engine that has more power.
Sure.
And honestly,
give me the choice.
It's not like we're the first one out of the gate with this.
Again,
we're not reinventing the wheel. Toyota has done it. Kia, Hyundai, Chevy, GMC, they've all ditched their V6s and have turbos.
Is that Jeep's brand image right now? Efficiency and power, that's their brand image. It's
not the brand image, but why not incorporate that into it?
Well, then why not offer the 6-cylinder to...
You do offer it in a Laredo.
That's what I'm saying. But like, don't do that because nobody like. Yes, the rails are nice.
You, the guy that ends up buying the Summit with the turbo is gonna have zero issues with it. He's gonna be like, oh yeah, it is quicker, just like the Hurricane and the Ram.
I have a feeling this isn't gonna age properly, and I'm gonna tag it so we can maybe
like all Jeeps. This will age gracefully.
No, and I'm not saying that it's not going to be a great motor. The Hurricane feels great in the Ram. It feels great in the way. It feels great. It feels great in all those.
But I had a bunch of hardcore Ram guys that were like, "It's a Hemi. Why? If it doesn't have a Hemi, I don't want it." And I had to say, "Drive it. Go drive this Hurricane." And they come back and they go,
"Here's what's going to happen.
That thing's got power.
Here's what's going to happen. They're going to come out like that, and then as soon as the sales start to slow down, they'll drop it with the 3.6. Oh, now you can get the 3.6 here. So like that's what they're going to do.
So what if they do?
Well, I'm just saying that's what they're going to do. Like, what? Just give
That's what they do with Ram. They brought the Hemi back because all the guys that are still trapped in the 60s, no offense, still want their Hemi.
Well, now on the Ram, that's a separate story because I'll tell you what, nothing wrong with wanting to have a nice little catback exhaust on your Ram, right? Like nothing wrong with a nice little V8 rumble. You're not going to get that out of any of the other ones.
But here's a good point, right? Yes, we're still catering to the people that have been with the brand, much like people that have been catering to Toyota and Chevy and Mercedes, right? I'm sure if you go into a Mercedes dealership, there's that guy that's like, how come there's no more V12? What's with this V8 twin turbo crap, right? But you've got to remember, you're also bringing in a new buyer. Those old buyers are kind of going away, some shape or form. So how do you attract the newer buyers? Everybody now, they want something new. They want something that is evolved. They don't want the same. It gets boring. Like the iPhone. You would have been like, you'd be the perfect guy that would have an iPhone 4S. And you would get that thing forever. But what do? Every year you get something new. And now you have a Samsung.
Shout out to my boss. I think he has an iPhone 6.
Exactly. But it's like people want newer. So if you come out with the same product, the product gets stale. It gets boring.
I understand that. I understand that completely.
So,
however, the Grand Cherokee is not the right vehicle for that.
Perfect vehicle for it.
No, do it.
Okay, so most people in a Grand Cherokee, what are they doing?
Driving around.
They're going to the mall and that's it. They're not going like what you see in the commercials. They're not traversing Everest or Mount Fuji.
Probably because
that's a marketing
because they have
tool.
a 2-liter.
There's that one guy out of 50 that's truly taking his Jeep overlanding and doing all that. Cool.
And it very maybe
he's going to do it with a 4-cylinder.
And it's probably likely that 2-liter does even in some conditions, aside from the heat, does just as good off road as a 6-cylinder.
That's what Jeep and Intercool for.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that. For me, it's just strictly
it's
like
change.
It's change. I know, but what I'm saying is, you could very easily give people the choice. Why not give them the choice instead of trying to shove a 2-liter down their throat? That's all I'm saying.
You have a choice. You can get a V6 and a Laredo.
Not really, because you have to be okay with a Laredo trim, which is nice, especially like the newer ones I've seen. Laredos are super nice. The one we have is Laredo, and it has heated seats and a sunroof. Like it's nice, but I just don't like that they don't give us the choice. That's it.
But you're fine with almost every other SUV in its class having a 4-cylinder turbo.
Yeah, because it's not a Jeep.
The Wrangler's done well with a 4-cylinder turbo. No complaints there.
Yeah,
but what did that do? That was made to pull in a buyer that traditionally wouldn't get a Wrangler. Because Wranglers are two things, I'll tell people. They're fun to drive, they're different to own.
Yeah.
They're not made for fuel economy. It's a brick on wheels, right? So what they did was, let's say, okay, let's bring in somebody that usually drives SUVs. They like a Wrangler, but they don't want to own it because why? It gets bad fuel economy. It's noisier. So what they did was they put a 4-cylinder in it for people that also, they love it, but maybe they just commute. So now you have something that gets 4 to 5 miles per gallon better than the V6 that's in it.
Sure.
We end up selling more turbos than we do V6s. I've had people where they'll drive it and they're like, man, is this a V6? This thing's fast. Like, no, it's a 4-cylinder turbo. And they go, holy cow.
And in the Wrangler, they do, just because they were so it's doggy to begin with.
The brand is trying to bring in newer people. They're not alienating the Jeep, the hardcore Jeep crowd. They're bringing in more. So if you sell more, you're a successful brand. If you keep selling the same old motor to the same old guy, you're not going to grow.
Fair. I just think they could have gave us that. They could have just gave us the option. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there is. So.
All right. So you sold all throughout COVID, right? I think inventory, yada yada. That was always a talking point. The chip shortage was the thing that was like the main talking point during COVID. kind of went away, and I've noticed at a couple different places the chip shortage is starting to become a talking point again. Like, what is that? Like, I would have thought that they would have stockpiled them or whatever.
I haven't seen it with our brand. I haven't, like, I have friends that work at other, outside of the group for different manufacturers and stuff like that. They haven't really talked about the chip shortage. They've been talking about inventory. I know that, like, Toyota, they're kind of playing this game right now where, like, when I worked at Toyota back in 2007, we had 600 new cars on the lot. If I want a gray Camry, okay, those 60 of them, cool. Well, now there's nowhere near that. That's like a tenth of the inventory now. So
Sure.
I think what Toyota's doing, as far as they have everything built, but they're not shipping it. So they're holding all the inventory and they're giving these guys a little bit. Because what happens then? Now you've increased demand. Because now you have people that are coming in and going, I'm looking for a 4Runner. And it's like, well, we don't have any here, but we have 2 that are inbound that'll be in next month. And now you got people saying, well, I'll buy it right now. Or now
Sure.
dealers are going to start going, well, we'll charge you $5,000 over for this TRD Pro. I don't like the game that they're playing, because when I was with Toyota, that was never really they didn't operate that way. They didn't try to be greedy and all that. But I think that I know that they're doing that.
Right.
Because it's hard to find cars right now if you're with Toyota. But I think with other brands too, I haven't heard of chip shortages. Maybe with some of the European brands. I know that, like, certain options aren't available. Like, I built a Ram the other day for a customer, and there were like 2 options that you couldn't get. I mean, it was like Ram boxes and something else, but that's not a chip shortage thing. That's just I think what they're doing is however they're building these vehicles, they're putting all the equipment on maybe the newer models that are first going to get released. So if you're ordering a different trim, maybe it's not available because they put it on, this, like back during COVID, if you wanted a hitch on a Grand Cherokee, you couldn't get it on a Limited or a Laredo.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time, on an Overland and a Summit, it was standard. So they needed to put all the Overlands and Summits that they were building, they needed to put all those hitches on there.
Sure.
So you couldn't get a hitch I had a guy that waited a year, and he was finally able to get
a hitch?
Yeah, you couldn't even go to parts and say, I want to order an OEM hitch. It says it's not available. Or I'll say it's available if you want to buy this Overland, but it's $20,000 more than what he was paying.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's tough. Well, okay, so not a huge concern yet. Maybe something to just keep our eyes on.
Right.
Hey, I do have another question. On the Chrysler side, do you have any vehicles yet that technically don't have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay?
They all have them.
Okay, well, I have some breaking news.
GM.
They are canceling Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
With GM.
So GM announced that. I was actually in a Escalade IQ yesterday, and somebody had mentioned that. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to check this out. So the Escalade IQ, so I look through hop in, look through it, do not see Apple CarPlay or Android Auto anywhere.
Oh, so it's already with catalog. I thought it was happening like down the road.
This was on a 2025 Escalade IQ that I was in.
What is it,
yesterday.
going to like Google based something?
So yeah, and I think it's all the GM stuff now is pretty much like a Google based interface. So like, for example, Google Maps, you can use Google Maps without even having to connect your phone. You don't have to connect, like you can hook up your Google account to it, but you don't even have to pair. It's like almost like, how we used to have navigation built into the vehicle?
Yeah.
That's how Google Maps is now on the newer vehicles. Now,
what's the point of getting rid of it though?
Well, I think
what are the advantages with Google?
Well, I just think you don't. Well, Google is like what the Google is what the vehicles are based off of now, like the software.
Yeah.
I think the advantage to that is being able to update, like for the manufacturer and for the customer. Like you're gonna get updates for your car way more often, like how you get it for your phone.
I just don't get why would you take that away? It's a wireless, like for the much newer car. Well, pretty much if you go 3 years back.
Yeah.
Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, it's wireless. It's a seamless system. Why would you take that away?
Okay,
so you gotta pay for it.
So again, I am not the most qualified person to talk about this, but we're here to talk. So after playing with it, I came to the conclusion that all it is removing a step. So for example, I paired my phone up. You can still use Pandora, you can still use Spotify, all that, but you go to the Play Store.
Yeah.
So there's like now the vehicle has a Play Store button in the infotainment. And so like once you link your Google account, it's the same as...
so you don't got to pay for anything?
No.
What if you don't have a Google account?
What? You would probably have to create a Google account if you wanted to...
You got the 75-year-old with a flip phone.
Yeah, you're going to have to create him a Google account.
And you tell him to buy, that's weird, but...
It's setting up OnStar.
Yeah.
Or it's the same as setting anything.
But it's like people, you're taking the technology away from the
No.
driver. Like, here's my phone, right? This already pairs seamlessly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be
No,
with Google.
what I'm saying is...
Let that work.
What I'm saying is, you don't notice the difference. Once you hook your phone up, you don't really notice the difference. Like, it's seamless. All your stuff is just built into it.
So what if I don't hook my phone up? Obviously, you can't listen to your Pandora and all that stuff.
Well, you could hook it up just standard Bluetooth.
Yeah,
right. But if you hook it up, and I think so it must not have come around to the phones, because on my phone it still said Android, because I have Android, so it still said Android Auto when I went to like connect. However, on the vehicle itself, you don't see anywhere Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, but everything is still there. If you use Waze, if you use, you know what I'm saying, like all that's still there. And I think the benefit for the manufacturers is they were all spending. So Chrysler would spend $50 million developing infotainment. Cadillac spent $50 million. GMC would spend $50 million. Everybody's spending. Next thing you know, you have literally like $500 million or $1 billion, whatever, crazy amount of money developed strictly to building 10 different infotainment systems that all suck. So I think all the manufacturers have
got in bed with Google.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I do think it's something that is coming along. Like I think so once I got to see it and play with it, use it, I was completely at ease with the situation. Well, but I was freaked out at first because I love Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Like you said earlier on, that should be a choice. Hey, you still have wireless Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
Or you can use your Google account. That should be my choice.
Okay, so you don't have
You're not taking that choice away from
Sure.
Like
so
with your V6.
You don't have to connect your Google account to like just hook your phone up and like use it and all that stuff. What you would you'd have to hook it up to if you wanted to download additional apps.
Yeah, it's fair.
Like, because you can.
But I still want to use my CarPlay.
No, for sure. But like, you can download games and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's essentially like this infotainment is its own device, in a sense where you can download.
Apps specifically. I think if I were to mess around with it and play with it, I probably would say, okay, this makes sense. But if it takes out a step, then yeah. And truth be told, we all have Google accounts. So.
Well, and I think the point is, once you go to the Google system where it's basically working directly with your phone, that's what CarPlay used to do. It used to communicate with the vehicle's infotainment system because the vehicle infotainment systems weren't capable of that.
But now you can have all those people that are going, oh, they're taking my data. They're spying on me.
They for sure are. Yeah, they for sure are. If you're watching this, they for sure are. And unfortunately, there's probably nothing we can do.
Even watching this,
that's not even breaking news.
They're spying on you.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so Apple CarPlay getting canceled. Long story short,
well, that's only with GM just announced that. So I'm sure maybe eventually other manufacturers may follow suit.
I can almost guarantee, because I'm pretty sure Mercedes, I don't know this, but let's say some of the imports I know are use the Google interface. I'm sure every single one is going to. Nobody wanted to be the first. Who wants to be the first one to announce that?
Yeah. Like, well, I do like the fact that, like you said, you mentioned that obviously every manufacturer has their own standalone software. Like Jeep has Uconnect, Toyota had Intune. Now it's something different. Mercedes has whatever they have,
and none of them were particularly great.
No, so I think that now if you just everybody gets Google, so I should be able to jump out of a BMW that I owned that had a Google account, hop into a Kia, and just upload my Google account on there, and it's all the same. That would be cool. Now I'm a fan of that. That's cool.
Yeah, no, I think it's all good stuff. And the other thing is, the manufacturers had to keep up with what we get used to on our cell phones, right? Like we're used, like as far as like how quick your phone responds, like our touch response to like how fast you're swiping on the infotainment. You want that to be like your tablet at home or like your phone.
Well, like the standalone apps too. Like Jeep has the app where you can unlock your doors, remote start the car.
Yes.
And all manufacturers have that. And a lot of times, and everybody has problems. Those apps, they don't work, they crash. Even just trying to set them up. Like when I deliver a new car, you have to set up the account, and a lot of times person has to do 3 extra steps because the app didn't download correctly. And I'm willing to bet that every manufacturer has the same problem when they're setting up an app. So getting rid of that clutter and just having Google, that I agree. I would just like to see how it works, and I'm sure it's simple.
Then you don't notice. I'm telling you, you wouldn't. So for example, if you hopped in a car, if I wouldn't have told you,
It'd be
If your average person just hopped in a car and hooked up your phone or plugged it in thinking you were plugging into Android Auto or whatever, you probably wouldn't notice a difference for a hot second.
yeah, kind of like if I were to put you in a Wrangler with a turbo, you wouldn't know.
No, I'd know. It's peppier than the 6-cylinder. I understand. But a lot of it has to do with the transmission as well. Let's not...
It's an 8-speed. It's more economical.
Listen, I have a Subaru with a 2.5 liter in it. That 2.5 liter, I'm on... So I have a 2018. I think it was produced for like 8 years prior.
Yeah, he's a big Subaru nut, you know.
Great vehicle. I think
eats granola, hugs a tree.
Love them.
Go sit on some grass.
Love them all.
Fun fact about the new Wrangler. This was last week because we got the 2026s in now. I think
already?
I mentioned it to you.
Oh yeah,
you stopped it.
Yeah.
So now you don't have to take to take the doors off. Not many people do. Well, a lot of people do, but they got rid of the bolts, so you don't have to worry about a rusty bolt. Now it's basically you unclip the wiring harness, and then now there's a pin. You pop the pin, pull it out, and then the whole door comes off.
Yeah, so we're talking no tools then, right?
No tools. You don't need any more tools. You still need a tool to take off the back of the hardtop.
Sure. Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that might become a thing where there's quick releases on the hardtop, so you don't have to undo the 6 hex screws on the back. But the doors, like I did it the other day, and it was like 30 seconds. Like you pop the plastic cover open, you undo the clip for the wiring.
Okay.
You undo the clip for the door hinge, and it pops right off. So the Wrangler is getting more user friendly, so which I love.
For sure.
Pulling in that newer buyer.
Well, and I think it will encourage people that were thinking about it but ended up not doing it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
It's like, even if you just take the 2 front ones off.
Yeah.
You know, if you can literally in less than like 2 minutes pop them off and throw them in your garage, then it's more realistic.
Because then what happens is, I want to take the doors off, but I lost my toolkit.
Well, exactly, yeah. Or not even that. Even if you know where it is, I want to take the doors off, but I got to go get the tool. Nah, let's just...
now the bolts are too hard to get off because you never took them off. There's a Gladiator right there. That Gladiator's going to get that too, so...
That's coming to the Gladiator as well?
Yeah.
Anything else coming to the Gladiator? I feel like that's been kind of stale since it launched. I mean, it's a fine vehicle, but I don't think they've changed.
They're going to put a 6.4 Hemi in it.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, they're going to put the 392 that was in the Wrangler. They're going to put it in the Gladiator, so I'm sure it's going to be,
Why wouldn't they put a 3-liter Hurricane?
It's going to be $110,000, and one person's going to buy it. And
110? Yeah, you're probably right.
Well,
you're probably right.
The 392 Wrangler was about in the 90s.
Yeah.
So
that is crazy.
And obviously, yes, that's a one-off vehicle. You know, a lot of Jeep owners are going to be, I'm not paying $100,000. It's like, we know this is a toy, so just get over it.
Yep.
The guy that wants it is going to buy it. You know.
Do you have time for answer a couple comments that we have from social media?
Yeah. We're getting followers now. People are watching us.
So we have a person saying, this is a TikToker, saying, I've had my vehicle 7 years, taken extremely good care of it. I've seen other ones for sale, and the trade-in appraisals I have received are nowhere near what I see other ones going for on the market. I feel I am well informed as I checked out the market for similar year and similar miles, and all of these are at dealerships within 30 miles of me. What am I missing?
That's easy. So I could shorten this one down. So what if you're looking for a trade-in, right? Like I have a Grand Cherokee L, and I put in, you know, it's a 2021 with 80,000 miles. You know, I drive a ton, right? Now, if I do a search on Car Gurus or Auto Tempest or whatever for Grand Cherokees, similar years, similar miles, similar equipment and trim, and they're going for, let's just say, 25,000, right? And I go in and I get mine appraised, and they say it's worth 18.5, and you always get the guy. This happened 2 weeks ago. Well, these are selling for this, and why you offer it? Because that's retail. You got to remember, when we take a vehicle in on trade, especially in Wisconsin, we have to do that state required safety inspection. So we have to put it up.
Oh, that's not free?
No, like we have to. Sales department, even though it's like we're in the same building, sales and service are separate entities.
Sure.
We have to pay them, and a lot of people say, "Well, you guys get that stuff at cost." It's the same. It's not. There may be some dealerships out there, but what you pay for front struts on a Grand Cherokee as a customer, we pay the same. And trust me, service loves to charge sales. Oh, yeah, but it needs this and this and this. So
customers more likely to get a discount.
Exactly. So if the vehicle came in and it needed, 2 front tires, it needed a rear tail light and stuff like that. Well, we have to put money into that to make it more marketable, to make it something, because you're not going to want to take a car in and then put it on the lot with 2 ball tires and a cracked windshield, because someone that comes in is going to go, well, I don't want it because it's got this and this, right? So we put money into it, especially with our dealer group, to make our cars, right, to set them up right. So when you buy it, you don't need to 6 months later, it doesn't need tires, it doesn't need brakes, you know, you're not replacing headlights or whatever. So that's what involved. There's costs involved to put that car in the lot. So when you see that car for, you know, well, this car is going for, you know, 25,000. Okay, well, maybe that car didn't need a lot put into it when they put it, you know, when they put it for sale.
Sure.
Some cars need $8,000 to work. You know, I took in a Lincoln last month, and when we appraised it, it drove fine. There were no lights on this thing. It had 70,000 miles. It was an MKZ.
Oh,
and I was
cars.
telling the managers, "Oh man, this is a clean trade. We should be able to sell this." Like,
trust me, I'm a car salesman.
Yeah, it's a good first-time buyer car. The service took a look at it. They found metal shavings in it.
Oh gosh.
It needed an $8,000 engine. You know what I mean? So what you see cars for selling online doesn't translate into your trade-in value. There's a difference, you know. And a lot of people will say, "Well, you're going to take my car in for 20 and sell it for 40." That's not real.
Right.
If we were making that much money, I would have retired 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Because we know if you put it for sale, someone's going to come in and they're not going to go, "Oh, that's a great price, I'll take it." No, they're going to talk us down and all that. So there's nothing wrong with profit in any business, but we have to leave room so we're not in the hole on every deal. So what your car is, you know, what you see your car going for, again, online is a similar car that's been selling here for this price. That doesn't mean that your car's worth that too. You know, when we looked at your car, hey, well, your car needs tires, the back brakes are shot. So if it didn't need all of that, yeah, maybe it's closer to what that car is selling for, but a car needs work. In that, you know, this could be for another episode, you know, for especially for newer salespeople, but really any salespeople, when you're appraising a car, you know, look at all that stuff, because that's money that you're going to have to put in to make it right and do all that. And you're not devaluing the trade. You know, it's like you're just telling the customer, so when you come out with that trade appraisal, right? And I'm kind of going off topic, but they say, "Oh, it's worth way more." Well, it could be, but remember when we looked, it needed this and this and this.
Yep.
And a lot of people, if you say it right, if you deliver it right, they completely get it. They go, "No, I know." But it's, yeah, we know you want to negotiate to get more, and we get it. We'll make it make sense.
Yeah, you're educating them.
Yeah. It's like,
and
you need to educate, because a lot of people just come in with just your
car's only worth that.
You know, they just think, they make the blanket statements like, "Well, slow down," you know. And if you do it right, if you talk right, it makes that whole process a lot more seamless.
Well, and we know, like with our own vehicles, right? Like you know what your cars need most of the time, right? Like you're not telling them anything shot, like that dent on the quarter panel, they know it's there.
Yeah.
Right. You're not, but at least when they say, "Oh man, that's all I'm getting for my trade," it's like, "Well, yeah, Mr. Customer, it would be worth such and such, but we had to take care of that dent that we talked about, and we did agree those tires were a little bit low, and you also couldn't remember the last time you changed your brakes. I mean, that's all stuff I'm going to have to do before I sell it, right?"
That happened to me earlier this week.
Well, yeah, you just
4-ball tires, heated rear brakes.
You're educating the customer on why, because we don't pick our numbers out of thin air, right?
No.
And realistically,
Well, they think we do.
I understand, and I get that too, because as a consumer, I feel that same way when I go to other businesses. I'm like, "Oh, stop it, this, that, and the other thing." But you have to remember, each business is a little bit different. But yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, dealers want to sell you a car. They want to make a deal. If we're telling you, you know, the car's only worth this, I'm sorry. Like if it was worth more, we'd do it. But at the same time, we know what we're going to have to fix on cars I mean, even if a car needs nothing, you're spending $1,500 on it between inspection, detail, oil change.
Kind of makes me think I'm going to trigger a lot of people, but you'll see people that'll walk in, looking at a home. They'll walk through it in 12 minutes and leave and go, "Okay, we'll buy it." But they'll sit there at a dealership and go for like 7 hours.
You're 100%
negotiating for that extra $300 for your trade-in. It's like,
right, people.
That's a whole other bag of worms for the next episode, but
plenty of people buying houses without inspections during COVID.
Exactly.
You know,
they'll walk through it. "Oh, we love it," but you didn't inspect the foundation, you didn't inspect the basement, you didn't do this.
But they want to crawl under the car that's under warranty.
But the car that we have with our no fear lifetime warranty, can I put it on a lift? Can I send it to my mechanic? Can I do this? Can I do this? You know, do you have it's just,
hey, which I will touch on.
It's the perception of the car business.
I will touch on one thing that you just mentioned. At every Kunes store I've ever been at, if someone wants to take, like if you as a consumer or you have a customer that wants to take your car to a mechanic, I've always talked to either a sales manager or a GM. If it's a local shop,
we do it.
That's never been a problem, because again, we know what
we sold last month. We sold a Porsche. Porsche Macan, I used the one, and he wanted to take into the Porsche dealership in Brookfield to have a PPI inspection done. was like, yeah, we took it there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, again, now if your buddy has a lift in his garage and he wants to put it up there and whatever, we're probably going to say no. I mean, it's got to be like at an insured place.
Certified, yeah.
If the car's up in the air, we want the insurance. And
if your buddy starts ripping parts out and then doesn't put it back together.
Yeah, I mean,
there's too much liability.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is, as a dealer, I mean, they've gotten screwed so many times in particular ways where it's like they just have to make. Some dealers probably, yeah, because like you said, I got to take a car to my buddy, and then they start replacing parts or swapping parts or whatever. So some dealers, I'm sure, have bad taste in their mouth.
Well, now remember too, it's when you take it to a mechanic, because mind you, our car's already gone through the inspection process. It's already done by our certified mechanics. So when you take it to A1 Auto 2 miles down the road,
yep.
When you say, hey, look at this car, tell me what it needs, what's their job?
To give you a list of things that it needs.
So they're going to find a list of stuff that they're going to create. So are we perfect at the end of the day? But no, but it's all kind of like a doctor. Hey, here's what we inspected. Here's what's worn on it here. You know, we noticed it had a small leak on a gasket or a strut or whatever, and we're going to disclose it. Now you're going to take it to A1 mechanic 2 miles down the road, and he's going to put it on the lift. He's going to go, oh, well, it needs this and this and this and this and this and this to scare you into thinking this car needs, Kunes was bogus. And they told me it needs this. Well, you got to remember, that's how he makes his money. So if he says it's going to need this and this, and yeah, it's going to need $4,000 worth of work. That's how he's making his income. A mechanic is a salesperson. So if they say it needs this and this and this, you're going to go, okay, well, I guess, well, no, not necessarily doesn't need all that. I had one guy where he took it to the mechanic and the guy said, oh, it needs tires. The tires passed all the requirements for the state requirements. So you may think it needs tires, you may recommend them, that doesn't mean it needs it. What we need, like for us to legally sell this car, here's where it's at.
Yeah.
If you want to think it needs this and this, okay, fine. You're just going to end up paying that mechanic $4,000 more because that's how they make their money. Are there some things here and there where they may say, oh, because sometimes I've had it where the mechanic did find something and we'll actually fix that. Oh, we didn't catch that. Okay, well, we'll fix it. And we'll sell it to you for the same price. That way you don't have to go buy the car, go to him, and spend another $900. Because that's how they... Of course they're going to tell you this and this and this because that's how they stay in business. Where we already fixed everything. So, but that's...
Also by warranty.
There's a lot of gray area by warranty.
By warranty, you don't even have to worry about this conversation. That's really the beautiful thing about warranties. I do have one other question. This one is actually a local one, Facebooky. I was recently driving by one of your lots and noticed a bunch of cars that had yellow stickers that read "not inspected for sale." Are these cars going to auction? I was kind of interested in one.
Yeah.
So do you know what they're talking about?
Yeah. So when we take a car in on trade, the lot attendants and everything, they're going to stock them, and you're going to see a stock number on the upper part of the windshield on the side windows. And they'll put a yellow sticker on ours. It's a yellow sticker with a red lettering saying this vehicle is not inspected for sale, cannot be sold. So that means when we take a vehicle in on trade, we can't, before we can sell it legally, we can't, it's got to go through the safety inspection. Like 2 days ago, I sold a 19 Cherokee I took in. It was Monday. I took a trade-in on Monday morning. The guy he traded in his 19 Cherokee for a 2023 Grand Cherokee. He wanted something bigger. Later that night, I had a guy that walked in and said, I'm looking for a Cherokee. And right away, I tell Ryan, hey, man, the one we just took in on trade, let's sell it. So on paper, we could sell it, but we had to, before I could deliver it to the customer, I actually delivered it yesterday to his home out in Eagle. I said, hey, look, let's do all the paperwork. Let's do everything like that. I just can't sell it to you because it has to go through the inspection. And if we find anything, everything like that. And this just Jeep needed tires.
So he committed to it to take it off the market, basically. Is that what he did? And then his out was if there's a problem in service, you don't have to buy it, or what was his protection?
His protection is, I told him, I said, I'm not going to physically deliver it to you till it gets everything that it needs on it. Because on that one, I already knew that it needed tires. The tires were bald. So here's the problem. If I were to cram that guy into the car and sell it to him, I got a sale, but what happens on the way home, if he has a blowout, goes off the road.
Oh, right.
We're liable for that.
Oh, for sure.
So at the end of the day, on Monday, we did all the paperwork. Was it Monday? We did all the paperwork and everything like that. And then it needed to be in service for a couple days to get all the service work. But I delivered it to his home with a fresh oil change, cabin filter, air filter, all that. And he got 4 brand new tires. And I think we did the front brakes on it too. Like he was like And I got 4 brand new tires. You know, to him, it was like, I got 4 brand new tires for free. I'm like, yeah, we didn't charge you for that. We already factored it into the pricing when we sold you the Jeep.
Right, because you knew that when you took
so
it
I didn't deliver
trade.
it to his house and say, hey, and now you owe us $1,500 because we put tires in it for you. No, it was already factored into it. So we do that a lot. We'd say, hey, we can sell it, but we can't deliver it yet.
Unless you might have another store trying to take that car from you.
And if you present it, and if you present it correctly and why, and if you're transparent as a salesperson and a manager, then the customer gets it. Like, cool, get it all set up, and we'll even say, hey, if you live locally, we'll just deliver it to you. You don't got to come all the way back here, and they love that.
That's cool.
So,
hey, side note, not to get too salesy on you, but you mentioned you're out delivering cars for sales. Did you know that we have a mobile service units out there and about?
Yeah, I saw him the other day. He was rolling through our lot.
Yeah,
in a Sprinter van.
Yeah,
Ford.
I think
Ford
I think it's
Transit.
The Transit.
Transit.
I think our Antioch location has a crew, and they can do oil, so they can come to you and do oil changes, stuff like that. I thought was super cool.
I saw one in Fontana the other day.
Yeah, so the Delavan store has a couple as well.
Yeah.
I don't think the Delavan one does oil changes yet. I think that's in the works.
You guys should do a video on that. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, we've been talking about actually doing like a ride-along one.
Because I think some people know about it, but it hasn't really been blown up.
No, they just
Ford advertises it on their like they do commercials because Ford does an actual.
Yes.
But like we should do that.
Yeah, they've done some.
Get on that.
But yeah, I thought that was super interesting. I assumed it was only like if you had a business and they were doing like multiple vehicles, but they were telling me like no, like your average Karen can say, hey, I work at Delavan Holdings and I need an oil change. Can you come do it? And it's possible they'd come out and do it, or replace your wipers, or change your battery. You know, just like simple maintenance like that.
Yeah.
They can do it so you don't
something
have
without
to.
having to put it on a lift.
Yeah. How cool is that? What else do you got? Do you have anything else that you need to get off your chest?
I mean, a lot of gripes with the bosses, but that's a whole other episode.
Well, they wouldn't be the car business. Huh?
No, I just if you're in the market for a vehicle, now is the time to do it. In these last 2 months of the year, it's always when it gets hyped up, big sales, all the stores, everybody's trying to hit their goals. Salespeople are trying to hit their goals. Managers are trying to hit goals for the store, for sales and service. So sales or for service, they have a lot of goals for service too. So, I know a couple episodes ago I said, when's the best time to buy a car? Really anytime, which is true, but now is where it's just that natural mentality where it's the end of the year and everybody wants to come in now. It's fun because it creates more buzz in the store, gets more excited. People are actually in a more positive mindset.
Sure.
They're happier. They're not grumpy and like they're coming in because that's like, oh yeah, what deals you got and all that. So it's what makes for the last 2 months of the year. It makes it fun.
A little more energy, a little bit more, whatever.
Yeah, you can tell there's a different feel to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's always good to have a little mix too, especially because everyone's always sad to see summer go.
Yeah.
And fall turns into winter faster than we want it to.
Yeah.
Well, great. Hey, last time the camera got cut off because it was my first day.
It's fall.
Do you want to give them a quick tour of the cafeteria real quick?
Yeah. The camera's still on this time, right?
Yeah, camera's on.
All right, so here at HQ, where we just filmed our little podcast here at the table, they have a very nice cafeteria. I'm kind of jealous because at our store we get a little room, but all the important people here that work here, they make the company run. Get a nice area. We got booths here. You have pub tables for lunch. You got a nice little outdoor area right next to the runway here. Kind of the snack stand. Marcos, snacks, over here, this way. It's like my favorite part. So there's a big snack area. I thought this was free because the first time I came here, I went to go grab something and Marcos said, you gotta pay. So if you are in the group, if you stop in HQ, just remember you gotta pay for all the fun stuff. But they got a pretty nice spread. Like you guys got ramen, Pop-Tarts.
Gotta have ramen.
That's not fair. Coffee machine, more pub tables, and you have pretty much a full working kitchen, short of having a stove. You got everything. Got a soda fountain or pop for all you Illinois people. Ice machine, all the fun stuff. Here's one of our HQ employees.
Fun coworkers every once in a while we even get.
That's about it. So yeah, if you work for us and you're in the area, stop by the HQ, check it out. It's one of the most impressive buildings I've seen. And I don't know of any other dealership group that has something like this. But it's awesome. It's kind of cool to walk in and have like a home base. Like this if you ever get a chance to come in here, it's truly impressive. So
yeah, and it's a good home base where we can meet and do stuff like this.
Yeah.
We do have an actual podcast room here, although it is nice to kind of try it out in different spots.
Change it up a bit.
Yeah, take advantage of your resources, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya. I like that one.